Snap change. Let's say I took the King of Hearts and changed it to the Ace of Spades. As some of you might be aware, I do quite a bit of traveling around the world, and one of my favorite things to do while I travel is to play with my cards while I'm on the plane or on the bus. And then when someone looks at me and I notice them looking at me, I immediately turn to them and go, snap change. And the moment you do a snap change, you can literally see their mind just... And I love that moment, because the moment that happens, I walk over, say g'day, hi, I'm Vin, and I'm able to build a connection with a stranger that I didn't even know. So please remember, you have a wonderful skill set. I know so many of you spend hours upon hours upon hours practicing your craft. So don't forget to go out there and perform for people. It's one of the most beautiful gifts you can give to a stranger. Hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial of the snap change. So how is this move done? Right, the first thing you guys are going to have to realize is that there's two cards, okay? So essentially this is what happens. I'm holding two cards, and there's one card at the front, obviously, and there's one card at the back. I somehow have to pull the front one to the back and display the back one, all right? So I'll show you from a slightly angled position here. This is what happens in slow motion. Boom. So you see, I've retracted that front card now, and I'm displaying that back card. But you do it so fast that the spectators cannot tell what just happened, and it looks like a visual change. First, let's take a look at the front view and what your fingers are doing, all right? How to actually position your fingers. So now, you guys can already see from the performance that I use my middle finger and my index finger here. You position them accordingly like that, all right? So you have it very close to the bottom edge of the pack. Almost align your middle finger here, the bottom of your middle finger here, with that bottom part of the card there. Don't have your fingers up here. I find that when you do it like that, the snap changes aren't very clean. So, I mean, you can try and you'll find out for yourself, but trust me, have your fingers about there. That's the first thing. Second thing, don't have your fingers in like that. That way, when you're trying to do the snap change, it's impossible for you to be able to do it. So you want a fairly shallow grip with your two index and middle finger there. So have it like that. And obviously, in order to hold the two cards together, on the back, my thumb is supporting it directly behind it. So, you know, obviously your thumb's not supporting on top while your fingers are holding on the bottom. That would look stupid. You got to make sure that the thumb is directly behind the index and directly behind the middle finger. Now that you guys understand the grip, let's talk about how to pull that front card to the back and display that back card to the front, all right? So now, let's look very closely at what these two fingers are going to be doing. My middle finger is going to be dragging that front card through to the back, all right? We're going to be looking at it from many angles, so don't worry. But my index finger is going to release pressure as my middle finger pulls that front one to the back. So I'll show you what I mean. As I'm pulling it to the back, see how my index finger kind of comes out and releases pressure? And then the pressure comes back on when it's gripping that back card. So I'll show you guys one more time. It looks like this. From here, watch, pull back with the middle finger, release pressure with the index finger. Boom. And then at the end, the index finger reapplies that pressure to grip that second card. Now let's have a look at it from the back. Guys, we're going to let the red card symbolize the front card and the blue card symbolize the back card that you want showing at the front at the end, okay? So that's how we're going to do it from this angle. You see, my middle finger, what it does here is I'll just slightly adjust myself. It pulls back that front card, remember, while the index releases pressure. And watch that front card now, that red card. It's going to glide along my thumb like so. So let's have a look at the position of this red card. It's actually being wedged in between the flesh part of the thumb here and the flesh part of the middle finger here. So it's wedged in like so. Okay? That's how it actually is positioned. When you position it here, what you find is you're going to get the perfect cover with this card here. So no one's actually going to be able to see this card if you perform it at the right angles, but we'll get into that at the end. So you see, I'm going to show you guys one more time because this move is actually one that people have a lot of grief with. So again, the red card being the front card. Watch my middle finger now, okay? I drag that card along the base of my thumb until it gets to that point there. So look at it from the top, look at it from the bottom. That's the position you want the front card to be in ultimately once you've done the move. You you guys are going to need to focus for this next part, alright? So now you guys already know how to pretty much drag that red card or the front card at the front through to the back and get it into this position. You understand that now. Now we're going to talk about how do we get this blue card into the position it's currently in, okay? So that's what we're going to do next. Alright, so let's start again from the beginning position. Remember, let's recap. You release pressure on the index finger, drag that red card towards the back. Now watch my thumb here. My thumb does not move from this position. It remains in that position all the way throughout. You see, the thumb doesn't actually move. It pretty much stays stuck to that corner of the blue card. So if you focus on that now and have a look at this, watch. As I drag back, the thumb actually never moves. But the thumb, what it does is it guides this blue card forward so that the blue card can be caught between the thumb and the index finger here. So now if you know that, watch what actually happens. I drag that red card back, the blue card is being pushed forward, and as I push forward, it actually is gripped between the thumb and the index finger. Now let's talk about the same thing, but let's look at it from the front, alright? So remember, as I'm dragging this front card back, I release pressure on my index finger. I'm going to exaggerate this now, but don't do it as much as I'm doing, but I'm exaggerating it so you can see the point, alright? So I release pressure on the index finger, I drag that front card back, and the moment that front card has cleared and the back card is now showing, the index finger comes back in and grips it with the thumb on the back and the index finger on the front, alright? So again, I'm going to exaggerate it so you guys can see. Remove pressure from the index finger. Normally you just remove it a little bit like that, but I'm just going to remove it completely. Drag that one back. Once you've got this space here that's clear, you come back in, grip it with the index finger and push forward with your thumb so that you clear this bottom card. I'm hoping you guys have got the move now. Now trust me, it's going to take a bit of practice. So if you can't do it immediately, don't go, oh, it's too hard, I give up. Don't do that. 70% of people will do that. So if you do push on and you do learn this, you'll be one of the very few people who can do the snap change well, okay? Now there's one more thing before I leave you guys with this one. You have to flick the card as you do the change. What this does is it actually distracts the spectator just momentarily, because when they hear the flick, it kind of gives it I think it's like a distraction. So it's almost like an audio distraction. So boom, and then it changes. So that flick almost hides the move, and it's very difficult to explain, but trust me, if I do it with, that was with, and if I do it without now, the move, people are focusing too much on the card, they don't get distracted by anything. And as fast as you can do it, sometimes people still see a card kind of flicker, you see? So the moment you put a flick to it, and you just flick at the same time, it gives it that little bit more of a misdirection to actually make the move look very magical. So make sure you add the flick in it as well. Tip number 1. Alright, I get this question all the time. How do you clean up the snap change? Because you're stuck in this position here, like that, okay? So it's not the best position to be stuck in. I mean, the only way you can walk away is like, alright guys, night's over, see you later, and kind of have to walk away like that. It's not going to make sense. So obviously there is a way to clean it up, and I'm going to show it to you guys now. Right, so in order to answer that question, how would you guys normally do a snap change? You would grab a double off the top of the pack and get it into this position here, right? So normally your hand will be occupied over here. Your left hand will be occupied. So you can't exactly flick the card. So how would you make the change in this position here if you can't flick it? Because like I said guys, if you just do that, it doesn't look extremely magical. Now, so a lot of professional magicians have come up with a way to actually do this and clean up as well. So trust me, the cleanup is going to be answered very soon. So from here, I rotate my left hand around once, and I go around the second time. And as I go around the second time, I do the change, you see? So the change happens when my hand covers the card just momentarily, all right? That way you can hide the movement, and it's going to be a lot harder for them to see the card go like that, all right? So I did it very slowly so you can see. So you go once, again, twice, do the change, and on the way up, grab that back card, move around one more time, throw the card up, catch it, and you show yourself clean. So I'm going to show you from this angle here. So from here, I go around once, I go around twice, do the change, come up, grab that card, throw this card up, catch it, and show them your hands clean. Trust me, this is a very good cleanup, and you're only stuck in a bad position momentarily, and then you're immediately clean right at the end.
tip number 2. What I'm going to say here is, I know a lot of people are going to have trouble with this move, and I suggest you guys go back to the front of the video and listen to everything again and practice, alright? This move is so powerful. I mean, picture this. You're in a bus and a car drives past, people are looking at you some reason, you grab a card out, you do a snap change, they have no idea how you did that. The amount of times I've used this, to attract someone's attention across the bar or something, it's insane. It's something that people are like, what, how? And they'll walk up to you and ask you how you did and everything. So trust me, spend the time, put in the practice, put in the hard yards, and you guys are going to be able to reap the benefits from this amazing move. And make sure you perfect it before you perform it. This is one where if you do it and people see the card at the back, and you're going to be left feeling like an idiot. So make sure you practice until you get it just right, then perform it, and you're going to get all the attention in the world. The angles for the snap change. You see, once you've changed the card, what are your angles? You see, if I move slightly like this, you're going to see that back card. If I move slightly this way, you're going to see that back card. And if I tilt it like this, you're going to see it. If I tilt it like this, you're going to see it. So pretty much the only angles you can perform this move is dead front on, all right? And you can't have too many people. You can only perform this to maybe a group of 3 at most. Now trust me, even though it has really bad angles, there are plenty of times where you're only performing for one person. Trust me, I'm sure you guys can relate. There's plenty of times. And when you do this, it doesn't get any more magical than this. I know it has a lot of angle constraints, but trust me, as long as you're performing for a small group and you don't have anybody to your left, your right, behind you, and all your spectators are in front of you, no one's going to be able to see it. Like right now, you guys cannot see it. And this is a very magical moment. And then trust me, here, just do your cleanup. Beautiful move.
And as always, for all your magic needs, make sure you jump on to 52cards.com. And if you want to follow me on all the social media platforms, all the links are down below. You should follow me on Facebook.